Today, we are really tearing into the latest buzz, the official reveal of the Land Cruiser FJ. We've got the details, including some key thinking straight from Chief Engineer Mr. Uchyama. It seems like they've tried to capture, well, the whole Land Cruiser legacy in this new, smaller package.
Yeah, exactly. And this deep dive, it isn't just about, specs on a page. Our goal here is to dig into the why. What was Toyota's core engineering idea? How do you actually distill that legendary Land Cruiser toughness into something more compact? And crucially, without losing what makes it a Land Cruiser off-road.
Right. We need to look past the metal, get into the philosophy.
Mm,
And that first look, well, it definitely screams Land Cruiser. You see the classic Toyota emblem, that centered lettering on the grille. It's all there. But then you see the overall shape, the proportions.
yeah.
And you immediately know something's different. It's not the huge flagship, not the big 250 series. It feels leaner,
hmm
more practical, maybe.
It is practical. And yeah, that practicality, it really starts with the actual dimensions.
Okay, let's jump right into that size reduction then. What are we talking about numbers-wise?
Well, compared to the 250 series, it's quite a bit trimmer. The overall length is down to 575 millimeters. So that's roughly 350 millimeters shorter.
Wow, okay.
And it's narrower, too, 1,855 millimeters wide. That's like 125 millimeters less than the 250.
That's a pretty significant downsize. But you gotta ask, for a Land Cruiser, why make it smaller? Is this just about fitting into parking spaces, or is there a real off-road advantage here?
According to the engineers, the main driver is agility, maneuverability.
Ah, okay.
Think about those really tight forest trails, or rock crawling sections, or even just narrow tracks in some parts of the world. A smaller footprint, especially with that shorter wheelbase, it just makes it sharper. Easier to navigate obstacles, make tight turns. It really changes how it moves.
And visually, yeah, they've done a great job linking it to the history. That really boxy upright cabin, the low belt line. The DNA is totally clear. They mentioned specifically channeling the earliest sort of dice-shaped Land Cruisers with the body panels. That's a nice callback to the old 40 series.
Oh, absolutely intentional. They're mixing the modern stuff with those classic signals. Like the main headlights are these C-shaped things, quite modern. But they're already showing off round headlights for a concept version. They know exactly which retro buttons to push.
Mm-hmm.
And even the colors, they made sure to include that iconic blue, the same one you see on the 250. It visually anchors the FJ right into the current lineup.
Okay, so we've got the look and the size strategy down, but durability, that's the absolute core for Land Cruiser, right? So let's get under the skin. What's the foundation?
Right, and this is where we hit the first really big strategic point. It is a frame-dipped SUV, a proper body-on-frame, but it uses the IMV platform.
Ah, the IMV.
Yeah, the global platform. Think Hilux, Fortuner. It's a ladder frame architecture, but one that's been refined over years and years, specifically for tough conditions all around the world.
Okay, hold on a sec. You mentioned the 250 has its own specific Land Cruiser frame. So using the IMV, I mean, wouldn't some Land Cruiser fans see that as maybe a step down or just a way to save costs? How does Toyota explain that?
And that's probably the most important question here. Toyota's line is that the IMV platform isn't competing with the 250's frame. It's positioned as an equally tough, well-proven solution that fits the Land Cruiser mission. The thinking isn't just cost, it's about global serviceability and lifetime support.
Ah, okay, that's the nugget right there.
Exactly. The benefits they list for this frame are, sure, extreme durability, but also, crucially, how easy it is to repair, and its ability to keep going even if the bodywork gets damaged. And by using the IMV platform, you guarantee that parts, know-how, service, it's all available pretty much anywhere, especially in those remote places where Land Cruisers are actual lifelines. That's a very practical, philosophical choice for longevity, Low running costs in tough places.
So it's really driven by that utilitarian logic.
Right.
Make sure it can be fixed anywhere. And they do stress that the suspension, the reinforcements, it's all tuned specifically to meet Land Cruiser standards. It's not just a pickup truck with a different body.
Precisely. And that focus on, raw, dependable function, it carries right through into the cabin, the controls. They deliberately went for what they call a tool-like feel.
Yeah, the manual switches really stand out. They've grouped the key off-road stuff, transfer case lever, diff lock switches right there, easy to grab. Unlike a lot of modern setups, even the 250, which use more electronic controls, the FG keeps that satisfaction of manual switching, as they put it.
It's a clear choice, isn't it? Less reliance on complex electronics where dust, vibration, heat could cause problems. If you need that diff lock engaged, you want a solid physical switch you can feel. The rear diff lock is there, And those chunky controls just scream reliability over fancy screens.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Section 3. How does the design directly help capability and the driver's experience? We're talking physics, geometry.
Yeah, geometry is just huge for off-roading. Look at the front and rear overhangs. They're really short.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is simple. Make sure your tires hit the obstacle first. You don't want the bumper or the corners getting hung up when you're trying to pick a line over rocks or logs. It just gives you more confidence.
And the back end, that's a perfect example of form-following function, right? The tail's cut really sharply, kept short.
Exactly. It's all about maximizing the departure angle. You can't have a long rear end dragging as you come off an obstacle.
Which explains why the spare tire is mounted on the back door.
Right. And that means the door has to swing sideways, which, yeah, visually reminds you of the classic 40 and 70 series. But fundamentally, it's a packaging decision driven by that need for off-road clearance.
Okay, moving inside, that purpose-first design just keeps going. The dashboard layout is very horizontal.
Which is really important for helping the driver read the vehicle's angle, its attitude, when you're on really uneven ground. Helps you keep your bearings.
And I liked the detail about the controls being blind-friendly. Solid switches, not soft touch stuff. You could operate this thing wearing work gloves. It prioritizes function over feeling premium.
Even the seats, they said they're chosen specifically for holding you securely on rough tracks, not for fancy materials. Every little piece reinforces that this is a dependable tool.
We often talk about capability in terms of like hardware lockers, suspension, but visibility, that's often overlooked, but it's huge for reducing driver fatigue, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they put a major focus on it. The belt line is kept low. The A-pillars are pulled back to open up your view forward. And here's a neat little detail. The outer edges of the hood are slightly raised.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they act like visual guides. Helps you place the vehicle precisely, judge where your corners are without needing a load of cameras or sensors. When you can see out clearly, you drive better, safer, and you don't get as tired.
Okay, let's talk powertrain. The Land Cruiser FJ. It's launching with a 2.7-liter gasoline engine. Now, given that Land Cruisers globally, especially in utility roles, often lean on diesel for torque and longevity, that choice feels a bit counterintuitive.
Right, and this is another one of those key strategic decisions, that 2.7-liter gasoline engine. It was picked specifically for its proven long-term reliability, its steady, dependable performance.
So, not about outright power.
No, not initially anyway. It's about absolute dependability. Starting with a naturally aspirated petrol engine, it maximizes durability, especially in markets where fuel quality might be inconsistent or maintenance isn't always ideal or where complex electronics might struggle. The strategy seems pretty clear. Start with something absolutely bomb-proof and time-tested, then maybe expand the options later.
That definitely shifts the focus from just peak performance to, well, long-term survival. Which brings us nicely to Section 4, positioning. How does this compact, tough tool fit into the bigger Land Cruiser family picture?
Okay, so Toyota talks about its current lineup having three main pillars. You've got the 300 series, it's the flagship, the luxury end.
Right.
Then the 70 series, the pure hardcore workhorse. Still going strong. Exactly. And then the 250 series, which they describe as robustly protecting daily life, sort of the core all-rounder.
So where does this new FJ slot in? Is it a fourth pillar?
It's framed more as an extension. The FJ extends that core Land Cruiser capability to, well, potentially more people, more users. It offers the same basic ethos, but in a different size, with a slightly different emphasis. It seems targeted at supporting everyday life, maybe more directly, in regions where that smaller size and agility are really key. Think denser cities or areas where maneuverability is just essential for daily tasks, not just weekend adventures.
And it's really important we clarify how it relates to the old FJ Cruiser, the one everyone remembers.
Yeah, good point.
That one, popular in North America especially, felt more like a lifestyle vehicle aimed at younger buyers, recreational off-roading.
Correct. That was kind of born out of the SUV boom, more style-focused maybe. This new Land Cruiser FJ, it seems to have a different purpose from the start. It's designed, they say, to support everyday life globally. That compactness is seen as a genuine asset day to day, maybe particularly in places like Japan. But critically, without giving up those fundamental off-road chops, it's meant to be a tool for living, more than just a weekend toy.
So it all comes together as Toyota's definition of Land Cruiserness, right? Robust engineering, really practical packaging, confident mobility over tough terrain. And they've managed to distill that into something smaller, maybe more accessible, and strategically easier to maintain globally using that IMB base.
That really is the core idea.
Yeah.
It's presented as a faithful, but also forward-looking part of the family, prioritizing that hardcore reliability with the manual controls, the proven mechanics, and maximizing driver confidence with good visibility and smart geometry.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the main takeaways here. First, using the IMV ladder frame that's all about global serviceability and toughness.
Hmm.
Second, the size intentionally compact for agility. Third, those manual controls, emphasizing its role as a dependable tool.
Right.
And finally, its specific role, broadening the Land Cruiser mission, extending its reach beyond those three existing main pillars.
And what I find fascinating is how Toyota is really doubling down on that foundational dependability,
Hmm.
starting with that proven 2.7 petrol engine, emphasizing the physical, reliable stuff like the frame and the switches, rather than just chasing tech complexity. It feels like a very conscious choice.
So here's a thought for you listening. Toyota keeps stressing that the Land Cruiser's mission is about supporting people's lives. By choosing global repairability and simpler, proven mechanics over maximum power, or packing it with high-tech driver aids. How does this new FJ maybe redefine what a modern utilitarian vehicle should be, especially for regions with infrastructure challenges? Is the IMV frame approach actually the smarter definition of rugged capability now?
It's interesting, isn't it? And Toyota does hint that more details will follow at release. So maybe we'll see other powertrains, hybrids perhaps, who knows? But the foundation seems very deliberately set. It'll be fascinating to see what comes next.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the new Land Cruiser FJ. Definitely worth keeping an eye on. Go check out those details for yourself.